Hi guys, this is the video to kind of walk you through the first major project we're going to have in this class, which is writing to share experiences, otherwise known as the personal narrative. Now, one thing that I do want to address regarding this project is that you will have one of two options that you can utilize when developing this assignment. So with all of the projects that we're going to work on this semester, you will always have the option to write an essay. Since this is a composition class, the essay is always on the table since it is a form of writing. But at the same time, I know that some of you are able to articulate and express yourselves in different ways, and sometimes writing isn't the strongest avenue to do that. And so for this first project, the secondary option or alternative option, if you want to do it, is a PowerPoint or Prezi with an audio voiceover. Why I like this option as well as an essay is because it allows you to incorporate images from your own life, and then it gives you the opportunity to utilize your voice in telling your personal narrative and telling your story. And so these are the two options you can equip if you would like to use them for this particular project. One thing to keep in mind, students sometimes ask, do we have to do both of these? No, it's just one or the other. So if you decide to do the essay, you can produce the essay, which should be a minimum of 750 words. However, I do not provide a ceiling for that. Sometimes students have taken this project and they've gone up to 4,000 words, which to me is a double-edged sword, because it's great in one hand that they really took the essay and they ran with it. But then at the same time, I'm like, I got to read a 3,000, 4,000 word essay, which is perfectly fine, because typically when students write or develop that much of a personal narrative, they were really involved and detailed and thorough in talking about their story. And then with the PowerPoint presentation, what's nice about that, or the Prezi with audio, is that you can utilize those images from your life. You can talk about those things. And if you decide to go in that direction, the PowerPoint should be a minimum of 10 minutes with your audio voiceover. And as with the essay, there is no maximum to how many slides you want. Typically, I see PowerPoints that are anywhere from 10 to 15 slides with about a minute of voiceover per slide, but obviously you can go well over that if you'd like. Someone who has influenced you or impacted you either positively or negatively. And why I say positively or negatively is because when we learn from some of these things in life, it's not always the best of circumstances. I've had students who've written about being children of divorce, who've written about addiction, who've written about abuse, who've written about gang violence. And a lot of times those are the biggest contributors to what they've learned in life. Other times I've had students who've written about people who have been motivation or role models for them, whether that's their parents, their siblings, their teachers, their coaches, their bosses, their mentors. And those would be options that you could also write about as well. You can also write about a task or objective or experience that you found or still find especially difficult or challenging. So some students have written about their transition from one country or culture to another. I have many ELS or students who were not born in this country, along with myself, that talk about some of the challenges or differences that they've seen from one culture or another. I've had students who've talked about gender identity or sexual identity, and a lot of times it's the discussion of either coming out or they haven't come out yet, or they're still trying to figure things out. And one thing that I do want you to know is that these projects are an opportunity for you to open up. I will be the only person reading or listening to them, so you do not need to worry. One thing that I often tell my students is, if you would like to be vulnerable and you would like to be open, I am by no means in a place of judgment. This is a place that is safe and secure. So if there's anything that you would like to address or open up about or write or produce, by all means, feel free. I've had students actually express to me how glad and positive they were that this was an opportunity for them to write about things or talk about things that they haven't been able to express to anyone else before. So that door is open for you as well. You can write or develop the project around the origins of your current attitudes about life. So one of the things that I often address is how your sort of perspective was shaped. Were you coming from a religious family? Do you have strong ties to, say, a police family or families that have dealt with police brutality? Have you come from areas of the world where you have less privilege and you see things from a different perspective? How were your attitudes or perspective or point of view shaped? And then lastly, an activity, affinity, or passion that has influenced you. So this is where I've had students who've written about their connection to gaming. Many students who game in this current culture devote a lot of time and has shaped their means to how they see the world. I've had students write about their favorite shows or anime and how that sort of has influenced their perspective on things. I've had students address aspects of sports, music, entertainment, creativity, their jobs, and those are the things that they're passionate about. And so if that is something that you would like to develop or work on, please feel free to do so. Now, one thing I also want to address as well is that on Blackboard on the left-hand side, and I'll show you this as well in the other video when I go through the assignments, is the area for the Writing to Share experiences. And in this area, you will find different student examples, whether they're PowerPoints or the essay examples. Please feel free to reference them. They are there for you to get more insight about the project. Additionally, I have the PowerPoints that you need to get further insight about this project as well. And as always, if you do have questions or concerns, please feel free to email me or text me or set up a conference with me. And if you would like, I can walk through the draft with you as well. One thing to keep in mind is that just get the project or essay started.